Welcome back to the channel, everybody. This is Great White Northerner, and we've got a box of nickels to hunt today. So have checked this box. It is all customer wrapped rolls, and we got a lot of those clear plastic ones. I took a look through a few. I saw some 12-sided in at least one of them. The enders don't seem to show too much, other than I believe I saw a US coin in there somewhere. So yeah, we'll go through this and hopefully get something decent out of that. And if we don't have any luck with that, I have another one right here. So this one I haven't even opened yet. Pretty sure it'll be fine. Typically, if it's been taped up like this, that usually means it's customer wrapped and it's not from the mint. The mint one will have the paper wrapper or the actual mint wrapper on it. So hopefully that's okay. Before we get into all that, I was just going to go through some of the stuff that we should be looking for, just as a refresher for those that are doing their own coin roll hunting or collecting. We'll look at what are the variants that are available that you should be checking for when you are going through these boxes. So I'm going to come back here in a second. I'm just going to get rid of this box that just stuck on my lap, and we'll start at the earlier ones and work our way down into some of the older dates as well. So be right back. All right, so what I'm going to do here, we'll start with some of the newer ones. Now, to say that there are different varieties doesn't necessarily mean that they're worth a whole lot. So when you're collecting, if you're a completionist like myself, you're trying to find all the little bits and pieces and variants on the coins, then, you know, you want to find all those variants. Doesn't necessarily mean they're worth a whole lot more. But things like the 1977 high and low 7, you know, you want to have one of each for your collection, but you know, there's not one that's particularly more rare than the other one, and neither one of them are worth a whole ton of money regardless. So you know, it's not a big deal if you just kind of get the two that you want for your collection. So I'll go through the variants. Just be aware that that doesn't necessarily mean if there's a variant that it's worth a ton of money if you find one. So all right, so 2006 is the first one we'll touch on. Oh, actually there's three. I forgot. Yeah, so in the 2006 you have a P mint mark, a no mint mark, and a Royal Canadian Mint mint mark on there. So those are the three that you're looking for there. And next is the 2001. You are looking for the no P variant. So most of the 2001s are going to come with a P mint mark on them. So this one here. And what you're looking for is the no mint mark 2001, as you can see there. And that one has about 30 million of those that were minted, so you're definitely looking for those. They're obviously going to be a lot more rare than the others. And then, so what you can see here is actually I started this book before 2000, and so I took the first page and converted it to all my 2000 plus to 2020. So going back here is our 2000. So there are two 2000s that you're looking for as well. And one of those, again, has a P and one doesn't, except this one, you're looking for the one with the P mint mark is the more rare of the two. And, you know, value, there's only 5 million of these minted. They're still fairly common, but definitely want to hang on to those when you find them. The 2000P, there's only a few of those, less than 5 million actually of those that were minted. So those are quite rare. What else we got here? There is a 1999P as well. I do not have that one. That one would be super rare, so watch out for that. There's no real mintage numbers on it. I know the 99P in the quarters, there's only about 20,000 of them minted, so you know, I think a safe guess would be to say probably the same thing for the nickels, but I don't have a number on that. Then working our way down. Now, this is something I look for. It doesn't mean you should look for. I do collect all the 97s and 96s. They're a little bit lower mintage, so the 97s are 27 million and the 96 are just under 37 million that were minted. Plus in the 96s there are three variants. There's a near 6, a far 6, and an attached 6, which I don't have the attached 6. So if I put that up on the screen, I don't know which one this is. We'll see when I get to it. Yeah, I think that's the far 6, and the near 6 is that's top of that 6 is just going to be closer to the D. They are hard to tell apart without another one handy. Keep one of each handy so you can kind of compare them, but the far 6 is the more rare of the two, although not particularly worth a whole lot more. Working our way down, 1991, you want to make sure that you are grabbing these because they are only just under 11 million that were minted, so one of the lower mint, more modern nickels. And then in the 1990, you are looking for the bare belly version of this. I do have some, but I don't have any in this book. But what you are looking for on that in the 1990 is In this space right here, most of this will be worn off. So as a die, as it got worn, all the hair for the beaver wore off in this section, and so they call that the bare belly. There's a small amount of value in that, so definitely want to catch those. So the 1977, what you are looking for is this second 7 to be either above or below the one beside it. So this one is a low 7. If you, let me see if I can get that straightened out so you can kind of judge for yourself. You can see that that 7 is a little bit lower than this 7. If that's not easy to tell, let me throw a high 7 down and you will see the difference. So there is the high 7. And now you can see how the 7 is actually a little bit higher than the 7 beside. So that's how you tell the difference. Again, good to have both because they're kind of hard to pick out on their own. So moving on to some of the others that I look for that you may or may not be interested in. The 71 is about 27 million. So I do pull those out if they're in decent shape. 1970 is the low mint star of the modern nickels. So you're definitely looking for those. If you can get them in great condition, then even better, because there are only about 5 million of those that were minted. I also hang on to the 69s and the 66s because they are also lower mintage, down around that 27 million, 28 million mark. And then once you get into the 65, there is a rather expensive variant, so it's going to be hard to find. And what you're looking for here is what is called the large bead version of this. And to tell whether you have a large bead or a small bead, what you're looking at is this Elizabeth II, and you want the bead to line up directly with one of the, or in between the eye here, or the two eyes. So this one is a small bead. This would be shifted over to about there in the large bead version. And that one is definitely worth quite a bit of money, fairly rare, and you're going to want to make sure you're watching all your 65s for that one. Okay, next one to watch for is the 1964. So very next date down the line here. And the 1964, what you're looking for is the extra water line. So it is fairly easy to pick out with the naked eye because what you're going to see is there's a die crack that comes in right above this water line, and it connects in here to the initials. So you'll be able to see it with the naked eye, but obviously having a microscope makes things a little bit easier. And that's the 64. And then also on the 64, there is another variant. I don't see a lot of discussion on it, but it is on the Coins of Canada website. And it is called the Spitting Queen or Whistling Queen. And there is a die chip right here in front of her mouth, which is, again, another variant that you can be looking for in the 1964. So the 1963 and the 1962 both have a doubling in the date you can watch for. A 1958 also has a doubling in the date that you can watch for. And then the 1957, and I do not have one, unfortunately, to show you, but there is a bugtail variant for the 1957 that you can look for. So on the, I got to upgrade this 57, it is pretty bad. Anyway, at the end of the tail is another die chip. Right about there, it looks like a little bug sitting on the tail of the beaver, so you want to look for that. So once you get down into this date range, then, you know, pretty much anything in the 50s, anything with the young head, you probably want to hang on to. They're fairly rare. Relatively speaking, they're rare. And so, yeah, I hang on to all of those. You're not going to find too many these days. Very specific ones that you want to be looking for is the 1954 and the 1953. There to tell those. So the easiest way is to look at the I in the DEI. So there is the 1954, and let me just grab a 1953. So you can see the I is kind of squared off on the 54, and then on the 53, if we can find the same spot, a little grunge on that one. There is a flaring on that I, so you can see how it's flared out at the top and it's at the bottom too, if the dirt wasn't on there. So you're looking for the opposite. So on the 53, you're looking for this to be squared off, and on the 54, you're looking for it to be flared out. So they just use the wrong dies as we go through on those 2 years. So there are some very low mint variants there that you're looking for where they've used the wrong die from the previous year or the upcoming year on those ones. So That's it. And then the rest, as you go down, you gotta want to hang on to anything below that anyway, I think. Especially if it's in decent shape. There are some missing chromes, the tombacks, once you get down into here. So the 43 and the 42, I believe, are both tomback that year. So they produce them in copper instead of nickel due to the war effort and the need for nickel for whatever they were doing with nickel. The 1944, there is a very rare tomback version, so it's worth tens of thousands of dollars. So good luck finding that one. If you do, you are making out well. Of course, all the chrome ones, most of them do have an opportunity to find a variant where the chrome is missing, and so that is definitely worth quite a bit more. So, hang on to all of those. The 1947, there are a couple. There's the dot and the maple leaf versions, so you're looking for those ones as well. And so I have just the plain and the maple leaf version of the 1947, and then there is a dot version as well. The dot is the one that you want that has the most value. So that's it. Pretty much anything down here, you're going to want to look up and see what else is available. But I thought I'd go through all the more common stuff in the earlier years, and that's what we're going to be looking for in this box. All right, so I think I spent enough time on that. Hopefully that was helpful, and let's get into the box. All right, 3 rolls in, and we do have some kind of find here. I haven't opened this up to take a look. I just pulled the roll out, and I can see here that we have something that does not belong here. So it'd be nice if it was a tomback. They are copper in color, so that'd be a 42 or 43 nickel, but it is noticeably smaller than the rest. So my guess is that it is probably a foreign of some type. Maybe a large penny, but that would be too much to hope for, I think. And yeah, it is a 1 new penny. So yeah, well, first foreign and got gypped there probably, but that's fine. Roll 4, and we have a bunch of finds here. So I noticed as I was dumping this out that these were all pretty much older 80s and 90s nickels. You could tell by the edges again. And so yeah, I did find a bunch of stuff in here, but nothing really worth keeping. So I've got the 1964s. I've checked them both for their variants. Same with the 65. That one's pretty hard to find anyway in the variant. And then I got 3 1991s. These are the second lowest mintage of the more modern era of nickels, and there's really only one that really is okay. This one here has got a nice ding in the corner on the side there. This one's a little grungy, but it's in reasonable condition actually, so I will hang on to that one for now. But this one I'm just going to toss back. There's just under 11 million of these that were minted, so they're worth hanging on to when you find them. Roll 6, and we have another find. We have a 2000p. So these are nice to find. They are only 4.9 million of them that were minted. And so they're always nice to find, and they're really nice to find when they're in decent shape like this. So this one's got lots of luster left, not a lot of circulation damage. So that's an awesome pickup. Happy to have found that one, and we're on to the next. Very next roll, and we already have a win here because I can see in this one there is a dime. Roll 11, and we have another copper coin in the mix here. So this one does seem to be the same size as the rest, so that's encouraging. Maybe we're going to get a tomback nickel here. That would be awesome. I think that'd be really the first one I've found. I think the only tomback I have I bought in a collection, but this actually feels a little bit bigger. So yeah, that is not. That is a mystery. 2002, whatever that is. Does it say? Oh, is that a euro? Yeah, 5-cent euro. Just didn't recognize the back here. All right, bringing you back in here again for roll 13, and we have a roll with some 12-sided. So before I open it up, I thought I would show you what I saw here. So we got one 12-sided here, one here, and one here on the end, or almost on the end. So let's pull this one out first. See what we got. Young head, 1962. So we'll set that one aside here. And let's see here, this other one. Drop it right back in. Also young head in 1960. And one more here. See if I can pull that out. Yeah. another young head, and another 1962. So let's, while I got you here, let's check for the doubling on the date. And I don't see any doubling on that one. Let's check this one. And I don't see, maybe, yeah, it looks like some damage there. Thought maybe there was some signs of doubling, but that's just all environmental damage, so that's it. And I don't think there was anything else. There are some older ones in here I can see, but there are no more 12-sided. So again, if I find anything else in there, I'll bring you back. Otherwise, we're on to the next roll. Roll 18, and we have one more find here. It is a 1963 young head in decent shape, so we will hang on to that. Roll 20, and we have another find here. So we got a 2001 no P. So normally this would have a P mint mark underneath the Queen's effigy there. This one is missing that, and so there are about 30 million or so of those that were made in this run. I'm not sure what the full mintage was for this year, but it was well over 100 million, might even over 200 million, but somewhere up in that range, and so only about 30 million of them were made without the P, so worth hanging on to those. Roll 24, and we've got a couple finds here. So one US, just adding to the pile over here. You can see I had a couple rolls that were pretty much all US, so definitely found a few of them. And we also got a 1996. It is not the more rare variant. This is the close 6. I'll bring it up here so you can kind of see, because I think I showed you the far 6 in the beginning of the video. So that's a close 6. It's a little closer. It's hard to tell, as I said, without them side by side, but a far 6 is just a little bit further away from that D. It does look like a little bit of machine doubling on there as well. I'm going to hang on to these anyway. They're a little bit lower mintage, I think around the 40 some odd million or so. So I hang on to these regardless. Hopefully I find a attached 6, because that's the one that we're really looking for. Roll 28, and we got another find. So we have another 2000P. Also in pretty decent shape. So again, that one is around the 5 million mark that were minted of that. And actually, I was going to talk about this earlier. So the interesting thing about the 2000P and the 2001 no P is that the 2001 no P is made of the older composition. So it is made of the copper nickel composition as opposed to the steel and zinc composition that all the other 2001 and above are made of. So the ARP program, as far as I understand, is actually culling these things through weight. So when they run through the machine, they can measure the weight, and the weight of these is significantly different. So the 2001P is 3.95 grams, and the 2001 no P is 4.6 grams. So it's significantly heavier. And so that machine will be pulling all of the no Ps out. So even though there's more of these, 30 million or so of these that were minted versus the 5 that were minted of these may end up becoming the more rare of the two, simply because the ARP program is very likely going to pull these all out of circulation. So whereas these ones are actually going to probably stay in circulation because they are the steel and nickel mix, steel and zinc mix, even though there are 2000, which is technically before the ARP program started, and typically wouldn't be pulling the 2000s out. But because of their composition, there's a decent chance that they probably are pulling these out, or aren't pulling these out, sorry, and they are pulling the 2001 Ps, or no Ps out. So anyway, just a little bit of trivia there, and musings on that. So on to the next rolls. Roll 30, and we have some more potential finds here. So I just went to open this up and realized I've got a couple 12-sided in here. There's one right here, so let's just see what this is. And it looks like it's mostly older coins in here as well. You can see there's some new shiny ones, but for the most part they seem that dull nickel look. 1960 young head, and where's the other one I saw right here? Also a young head, 1962. Check that for the doubling on the date. I do not see any doubling there, so. All right, couple finds anyway. Roll 42, and we have one more find here, so nothing too special, but it is a young head, 1962, and I checked it for the doubling on the date, and it did not have that. So, on to the next. All right, well, that's our finds. So box is empty. Wasn't a whole lot left in the rest of that box as I went through it. And so kind of a light box, but we'll take it. We did talk about some of the varieties earlier, so I think the video will be long enough, and I don't need to worry about going through that other box right now. And so anyway, we are sitting at 3 1960s, 2 1962s, and what am I doing here? 4 1962s, and 2 1963s. I got a 1996 lower mintage, 3 of the 1991, which are about 11 million. Those minted 2001 no P and 2000 P mint marks. We got a dime, which that roll I did count actually, and it was not short. So that was I'm up a whole 10 cents on that one, plus a couple foreign coins there. So that is it. We did get some US stuff, and I went through all those. This is all the modern stuff here. A couple nicer ones I'm going to check against my book, but I don't think they're going to replace anything I have. Some 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. So you can see there's not a whole lot. They're not in great shape, and there's no varieties in there anyway. So yeah, so that's it. So we're done. All right, we're moving on, and we'll catch you guys on the next box. I do have that other box of nickels, so that'll probably be the next one that I do, and we'll see you then. Thank you so much. Don't forget, don't forget to like and subscribe. I do appreciate all that. I appreciate you guys supporting me in that way, and it's a small thing you can do, but it definitely helps me with my channel to get it to grow a little bit more. So thank you so much. You guys all have a great day, and take care.